Okay, so let's quick recap this section on the intonator. And I want to talk also, after the recap, a little bit about some of the ways that we can address this part of the instrument in our training. So we spoke of the instrument as a whole, consisting of these three parts and a fourth part that we call posture. The three parts being the aerator, the intonator, and the resonator. Those three or four parts combine to basically do two things: to make sound and then to shape sound, in that order. We make sound inside the intonator. The four main characteristics of the sound that we make are a vowel at a pitch with a volume and a tonal quality. Okay? All four of those, pitch, vowel, volume, and part of the tonal quality, are made by the true vocal folds. Further, more of the tonal quality is affected by the vertical position of the larynx. Down lower, it's bassier and rounder. Up higher, it's brighter, younger sounding. Okay? Further, we have these false vocal folds sitting on top of the true folds that can either enhance or harm the quality of those four properties as well. Either the false folds can even alter the pitch. Okay, so that's what we're doing with the intonator, and we're doing it. It's where the aerator or the air pressure meets those true folds is where all this magic happens. And we talked about how the folds themselves can change their thickness, they can change their length, they can change tension, and they can, as more of an advanced skill, you can learn to change the angle. It also happens naturally, but you can learn to do it and gain some control over it. So when we did some awareness exercises to basically know how to change pitch by sirening, change thickness on a single note by making it kind of tenser and a richer, heavier sound, or a thinner and lighter sound. And then we also learned how to retract and constrict the false vocal folds and how to raise and lower the larynx. When we move into vocal training, with any of these characteristics of the instrument, that all three parts of this one instrument, is that we want to put them through workouts, we want to exercise them, and we want to become aware of all these different parameters. Now, we might not be able to be aware of 10 to 15 things all at the same time while we're doing some kind of exercise. Like if we put an MP3 file on that has a piano scale that slowly goes up in pitch and then comes back down within the scale, and then the scale itself moves up like a semitone and repeats and up and repeats. What we'll be doing then is, well, actually, when you're going up and down a scale, you're already changing the vibrating length of the true folds because you're changing pitch. As you're going up in pitch and as that scale moves up during the exercise, you're going to have to learn how to train to let go of some of the thickness and move that into a thinner, like a medium, then a thin, then an extra thin, and even a disconnected tone, which is called falsetto. So what we do is we create exercises that allow us to train and address those moving parts. And that's what we do more in the vocal training part. And the false vocal folds are really something that you don't necessarily have exercises to train them like you would the performance of the true folds, but the false folds, you want to always be aware of them, because when they jump in and slam shut while you're doing an exercise designed to strengthen the true folds, you want to be able to be aware, first become aware of what actually just happened, because you're not at all aware of it. You might be aware that you might not even be fully aware of how squished up and stressed things really are, because sometimes what feels normal today is actually there's still too much pressure and too much stress, but you don't realize it because you've been doing that your whole life. So we go through exercises to try to certainly add strength, because the true folds can become stronger, more coordinated, more agile. That zipper feature, we want to learn to zip it up good, because that gives us those higher pitches when we want to sing, extend our range upward. So that's our lesson on the intonator, where sound is made. And I hope you understood all of it and got some value out of it. Definitely a big takeaway is going to be, for some of you, is going to be the understanding of those false vocal folds and how problematic they can be. So now we're going to move on to the next full lesson, which is about the resonator, the head, the resonation chamber, which is also an absolutely amazing portion of this instrument. And it also contains one problem that was my other biggest problem that is rarely talked about or discussed in most forms of vocal pedagogy, in vocal training. And we're going to cover it here in this course in the next section. So, be well, and let's move on to the next lesson.